Greetings aspirants, hope you are doing well. Welcome to the daily news analysis by CivicCentre IAS from the Vignan series, where we try to discuss the articles from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB from the UPSC CSC prelims perspective. Displayed are the list of topics which we are going to talk about in today's discussion. So without any further delay, let's start. The first article says that the primary Amoebic meningoencephalitis, which is a serious infection affecting the brain, has been confirmed in a 4-year-old boy in Kerala. So, what is this amoebic brain infection? See, the Naegleria fowleri, that commonly known as the brain-eating amoeba, is a single-cell organism found in warm freshwater environments such as lakes, hot springs, and poorly maintained swimming pools. Then, how does this Naegleria fowleri infect people? See, the Naegleria fowleri enters the body through the nose, usually when people are swimming. Gradually, it then travels up to the brain, where it destroys the brain tissue and causes swelling. Further, it can cause a severe brain infection known as primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. But you have to know that it is a non-communicable infection. Now, what the symptoms are the prognosis for the infection? So the symptoms usually appear within a week of infection. Some of the symptoms are severe headache, fever, nausea, vomiting, stiff neck, confusion, seizures, and hallucinations. Interestingly, the infection progresses rapidly and can lead to even coma and death. Hence, the chances of survival are unfortunately very low. Lastly, talking about the treatment, it includes a combination of drugs including amphotericin B, azithromycin, fluconazole, rifampin, miltefosine, and dexamethasone. Further, the drug miltefosine has shown efficacy in killing Naegleria fowleri in laboratory settings and has been used successfully in the treatment of some survivors. But even with the treatment, the chances of surviving this infection remain very low, with a recorded death rate of 97%. The second article of the day says that Quad calls for end to violence in Ukraine, Gaza and Myanmar. In this context, let us talk about Quad and also about the Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness Initiative, also because the article mentions about it. So firstly, talking about the Quad, which is also known as the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, is an informal strategic forum. Note that it comprises of 4 nations, which are Australia, India, Japan and the USA. Significantly, the 4 countries share a common interest in maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific, promoting democracy, human rights and the rule of law, and countering China's expanding influence in the region. Note that the Quad was initially formed in 2007 during an informal meeting of leaders from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Notably, it was Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe who first proposed the idea of creating the Quad. Then how does Quad function? See, the Quad is a loose grouping rather than a formal alliance. So it does not have a decision-making body or a secretariat as such, or a formal structure like NATO or the United Nations. Further, the alliance is maintained through summits, meetings, information exchanges, and military drills. Now, let's shift our attention towards the IPMDA. As we have already talked, it stands for the Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness. So, the IPMDA initiative, which was introduced by the Quad group at the Tokyo Summit in the year 2022, aims to monitor dark shipping and create a more comprehensive and precise real-time maritime overview of partner nations' waters. Know that the dark shipping is a term used to describe a vessel operating with its automatic identification system turned off. Notably, the AIS transponder systems transmit a ship's position at sea alongside identification data and other useful information that the vessels and maritime authorities can reference. Hence, the IPMDA is a technology and training initiative to enhance maritime domain awareness in the Indo-Pacific region and to bring increased transparency to its critical waterways. Furthermore, it harnesses innovative technology such as commercial satellite radio frequency data collection to provide partners across the Southeast Asia, the Indian Ocean region, and the Pacific with real-time information on activities occurring in their maritime zones. Additionally, the IPMDA also involves regional information centers helping to establish a common operating picture of the maritime domain across the Indo-Pacific region. Note that it focuses on integrating Pacific Islands, Southeast Asia, and the Indian Ocean region in the Indo-Pacific. So, the initiative is a significant endeavor aimed at enhancing the security and stability of the Indian Ocean region, which holds a central place in the global politics. You can say that this is the main objective of the mission. Further, it ensures the safety of the critical sea lines of communication and promoting cooperation among like-minded nations in the region. The next article is about our Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh saying that he is ready to make a statement on the Agnipath scheme. In this context, let us look at the various aspects related to the scheme. Firstly, the Agnipath scheme is a central government scheme launched in the year 2022 for the recruitment to the armed forces. Notably, it is a recruitment process for individuals below the rank of officer with the goal of deploying fitter, younger troops on the front lines, many of whom will be on the 4-year contracts. Now, what do you think is the eligibility for the scheme? See, firstly, the candidates between the age of 17.5 years to 21 years will be eligible for enrolling to the Agnipath scheme. Then the girls under the given age limit are also open for the Agnipath entry, but notably, there is no such reservation for women under this scheme. Further, the recruitment standards will remain the same and the recruitment will be done twice a year through rallies. Moving on to talk about the pay and benefits of Agniveers. If the Agniveers die on duty, their family receives a lump sum of 1 crore rupees, which includes the Seva Nidhi package also, and full pay for the period which the soldier could not serve. Additionally, in case of disability, an Agniveer can receive up to 44 lakh as compensation, depending on the percentage of disability suffered, which is attributed to or aggravated by the military service. How is the Agnipath different from the regular military service? See, firstly, unlike the soldiers in regular service, Agniveers do not draw pensions post-retirement. So, only 25% of Agniveers who are absorbed into the forces after 4 years will receive pension benefits, excluding their initial 4 years of service. Further, this scheme aims to reduce the armed forces' permanent force levels and significantly cut the defense pension bill, which is a long-standing concern for governments. The next article says that the Defence Acquisition Council, which is chaired by the Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh, has viewed and approved amendments to the deal for procuring 31 MQ-9B high-altitude long-endurance unmanned aerial vehicles from the General Atomics of the US. Additionally, the Defence Acquisition Council also gave approval to a proposal regarding the scheduled refit of aircraft carrier INS Vikramaditya later this year. In this context, let us talk about the Defence Acquisition Council, in short called the DAC, and then also about the drone in brief. So firstly, talking about the DAC, it is the highest decision-making body in the Defence Ministry. Know that it is for deciding on new policies and capital acquisitions for the 3 services, which are the Army, the Navy and the Air Force, and also the Indian Coast Guard. Notably, the Minister of Defence is the chairman of the council. It was formed after the group of ministers' recommendations on reforming the national security system in 2001, post-Kargil War in the year 1999. Now, moving on to talk about the MQ-9B. The MQ-9B Predator drone is an unmanned aerial vehicle, and MQ-9B Sea Guardian is a maritime-focused version of the Sky Guardian remotely piloted aircraft system. Know that the MQ-9B drones are also called as Predators, and they are high-altitude long-endurance drones that can fly over 40 hours using a satellite. Significantly, they can be used for offensive missions, reconnaissance, surveillance, and intelligence operations. The next article says that the Project Tiger would displace at least 5.5 lakh scheduled tribes and other forest dwellers, according to a report released by the New Delhi-based rights group on Global Tiger Day. In this context, let us talk about Project Tiger, the significance of tiger, and its conservation status. So, what is Project Tiger? See, it is the tiger conservation program launched in the year 1973 by the Government of India and is administered by the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Note that it is a centrally sponsored scheme under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So, it was first launched at the Jim Corbett National Park and focuses on the conservation of big cats and ensures the prevention of their natural habitat, as tigers are at the top of the food chain. Now, why is tiger so significant? Firstly, it is a top predator and is at the apex of the food chain. Then, the presence of the tigers in the forest is an indicator of the well-being of the ecosystem. Thirdly, tigers are both a flagship and umbrella species. Hence, as a flagship species, they are important for conservation, and as umbrella species, conservation of tigers leads to conservation of other species. Now, talking about the conservation status of the tiger, as per the IUCN Red List, it is endangered. Further, it is placed under the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Lastly, it is under Appendix 1 of the CITES. Significantly, this project has been successful in increasing the population of the tigers, increasing the numbers from 1200 to around 5000. Notably, the recent additions to this project are Ratapani Tiger Reserve of Madhya Pradesh, Sunabeda Tiger Reserve of Odisha, and Guru Ghasidas of Chhattisgarh. Further, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change announced the merger of the two flagship programs, Project Tiger and Project Elephant, as Project Tiger and Elephant. The next article is in the context of the report on the currency and finance for the year 2023-24, which was released by RBI. It said that the digitalization induced changes in the behavior of the consumers and financial intermediaries can have implications for the monetary policy. So the report said that while digitalization improves accessibility and convenience of financial services, it can expose consumers to impulsive spending, herd behavior, and data breaches. Further, the report also said that the digitalization can provide a strong boost to India's external trade in goods and services, given the country's relative comparative advantage in modern service exports, which are not conditional upon the geographical proximity of the trading partners. Also, the digitalization in international payment systems has potential to reduce the cost of receiving remittances, thereby leading to higher remittances and income or savings for the recipients. Further, the report also said that the UPI has seen a tenfold increase in volume over the past 4 years, notably increasing from 12.5 billion transactions in 2019-20 to 131 billion transactions in 2023-24, nearly 80% of all the digital payment volumes. You have to also know that earlier this month, the RBI joined Project Nexus, which is a multilateral international initiative to enable instant cross-border retail payments by interlinking domestic fast payment system. Some of the other reports given by RBI are Digital Payments Index and Financial Stability Index. Now, briefly touching upon the project, see the Project Nexus is conceptualized by the Innovation Hub of the Bank for International Settlements. It seeks to enhance cross-border payments by connecting multiple domestic instant payment systems globally. Notably, it is the first BIS Innovation Hub project in the payments area to move forwards live implementation. Significantly, Project Nexus aims to connect the fast payment system of 4 associations of the Southeast Asian nations, which are Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Significantly, India would also be one of the founding members and first mover countries of the platform. The next article is in the context of the recent economic survey for the year 2023-24 released last week, which corroborated the positive trends, showing that the unemployment rate fell to 3.2% in the year 2022-23. Further, the survey noted significant improvements in the Indian labour market indicators over the past years. Particularly noteworthy is the decrease in the youth unemployment rate, which dropped from 17.8% in 2017-18 to 10% in 2022-23. Additionally, this decline has been accompanied by an increase in both the labour force participation rate and also the worker to population ratio. Now, what is unemployment? See, unemployment refers to the condition where individuals capable of working are actively seeking employment but are unable to secure suitable jobs. Basically, an unemployed person is someone whose working age, jobless, able and available to work, and actively looking for a job. Hence, the unemployment rate can be calculated by number of unemployed workers divided by total labor force into 100. The next article says that the Punjab government has returned to the centre, expressing the willingness to implement the PM Schools for Rising India scheme in short called the PMstre scheme, days after the Union Education Ministry stopped funds under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan to the state. In this context, let us talk about the PM Schools for Rising India in short called the PMstre scheme. So the PMstre school scheme is a centrally sponsored initiative by the Government of India. It is aimed at developing 14,500 PMstre schools. Know that these schools will be managed by various government bodies including the central government, state or UT governments, local bodies, Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan and Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti. Significantly, the scheme's primary objective is to create inclusive, welcoming and stimulating learning environments with good physical infrastructure and appropriate resources for all students. Further, it is aligned with the National Education Policy of 2020 and it aims to nurture students into engaged, productive and contributing citizens. Interestingly, PMstre schools will emphasize holistic development, integrating experiential, play or toy-based learning and competency-based assessments. Hence, they will focus on cognitive development, 21st century skills and a variety of learning experiences. Additionally, the initiative aims to enhance the facilities like labs, libraries, art rooms and green infrastructure, promoting water conservation, water recycling and energy efficiency. If we have to talk about the implementation, see the scheme will be implemented over 5 years from the year 2022-23 to 2026-27 through the existing administrative structures of Samagra Shiksha, KYS and NVS. Significantly, it will directly benefit over 2 million students and serve as a model for schooling up the best practices in school education across the country. Looking at the financial structure, the central government will cover 60% of the implementation cost, with the states or the UTs bearing 40%. Furthermore, in some regions like the Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir and the Northeast, the central government is going to contribute up to 90%. The last article of the day is in the context of the Honorable Chief Justice of India's special message to citizens, lawyers, advocates on record about the Special Lok Adalat 2024 to commemorate 75 years of Supreme Court of India. So let us talk about Lok Adalats. See, the Lok Adalats, which are organized by the NALSA and other security services institutions, is an alternative dispute resolution mechanism where the disputes pending in the court or at the pre-litigation stage are settled amicably. Notably, it holds statutory status under the Legal Services Authorities Act of 1987. Further, know that the decisions made by Lok Adalats are final, binding and equivalent to civil court decrees with no appeals allowed. If we have to talk about the features, firstly, there is no fees payable for the cases filed in Lok Adalat and the court fee for the cases referred and settled are refunded. Secondly, the members act as conciliators, assisting parties to reach a settlement without judicial power. Lastly, the Lok Adalat can handle any case pending in court or disputes likely to be filed in court except for non-compoundable offences and divorce matters. Then, talking about its jurisdiction, according to the Section 18 Clause 1 of the Act, Lok Adalats can resolve the cases pending before any court and they can resolve the disputes which are not yet filed in any court but likely to be filed. Then talking about the referral process, so the cases can be referred to Lok Adalat or the pending cases directly from the court and the pre-litigation disputes by the application to state or district legal service authority which issues notices to other parties. Then know that there are 4 levels with respect to the composition. At the state authority level, there are benches with a sitting or retired High Court judge and members from the legal profession or social workers. Secondly, the High Court level, which has a similar composition to the state level. Thirdly, at the district level, there are benches with a sitting or retired judicial officer and members from the legal profession, social workers or paralegal services. Lastly, the taluk level, which is similar to the district level and preferably including a woman. Moving on to the types of Lok Adalats, there are mainly 2 types. The National Lok Adalat, which is held regularly at all courts levels, which disposes of numerous cases on specific subjects. Then, the Permanent Lok Adalat, which is a permanent body for the pre-litigation conciliation and settlement of the public utility services disputes. Notably, it has the authority to decide disputes if no settlement is reached, with awards being final and binding. So we have discussed 9 articles for today from the Hindu and the Indian Express from the UPSC CSA prelims perspective. We'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Thank you.